Two straight. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second edition of the Wrestling Drive. I'm your main man, Tommy on the spot. I hope all is well with you. And of course, in the ever-changing world of professional wrestling, we dropped our first episode yesterday, and then a huge night of action. I mentioned NXT last night. I mentioned that the Cruiserweight Classic was debuting last night. I forgot to mention that my main man and yours, John Cena, was going to be hosting the ESPY Awards, and I was able to kind of watch bits and pieces of that. But on the ESPYs, there was actually a pretty big announcement that I'm about to get into. Before I do, though, let me just backtrack a little and mention on NXT last night, Shinsuke Nakamura and Finn Balor did have what I consider to be a very good match. They went for about 20 minutes. I thought the match was really, really good, especially for a match just on NXT television. I thought they absolutely brought it, and this Shinsuke Nakamura beats Finn Balor clean in the middle of the ring, so he will now move on to NXT TakeOver Brooklyn to face Samoa Joe in a match that should be absolutely phenomenal, and a huge part of that weekend. It's going to be great to see. I can't wait for it myself, but the major story coming out of that has to be the fact that Finn Balor lost that match now. It seems like this might be the end of the road for Finn Balor in NXT. Hey, the guy's been there for over a year now. He's just been incredible. Really, really a major force in kind of leading that brand as the brand continued to grow over this past year. And I think it's only a matter of time now before he does eventually make his debut on the main roster for WWE. I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but I'm saying that you can kind of take the pieces together, put the pieces together. If you watched that show yesterday, they had a really good video package building up this match, and just kind of like it seemed like you don't really know where else to go with Finn Balor from here. Now, is there a chance to have him on the TakeOver Brooklyn show? There might be, yeah. I mean, maybe he has one big blowaway type of match, kind of like they did with Sami Zayn. Sami came up, and then they had him at the last TakeOver in Dallas against Shinsuke Nakamura, and they did the same thing to a lesser extent with Tyler Breeze, where he fought Jushin Thunder Liger. And so sometimes they do that, where they do try to do one big match prior to that person moving up to the main roster. So I definitely think there's a possibility for Finn Balor on that, but I would be stunned if we were sitting here. What's today's date? July 14th. We're sitting here August 14th, and Finn Balor is not on the WWE roster, unless there's some unforeseen injury that we don't know about. I would be very, very surprised. I'd put my money where my mouth is. I'll give every single person out there $1 if you call me on it, if Finn Balor is not up in 1 month's time. And I think it'll be a lot sooner than that. Me personally, I would have him come up at the draft. I'd have him be one of the top 5 picks of either Shane McMahon or Stephanie McMahon. Bring him right up. Similar to that during the first draft back in 2002, they kind of did this with Lesnar. He was a newcomer, and they drafted him within the first couple of top 10 picks. So I think that really kind of established him. I expect and I hope the same for Finn Balor. Those hoping that he comes up and he's now the new head of the Bullet Club, or the club, if you will, and they make it the Balor Club. I think that at some point that might have been in the cards, but I think the club is just doing so great right now that they don't necessarily need Balor. I think Balor on his own could really be a major force and a major player in WWE aside from the club. So I'm excited for him to come up, though. It's been a long time coming for Balor, especially that, his whole entrance when he does the Demon is just so made for the big time. I could just see a major WrestleMania-style entrance for that particular character, and I'm excited for it. It should be a lot of fun. So hopefully that happens. We'll keep our fingers crossed there for that. All right, now on to the big news from the ESPYs. And first off, John Cena did a fantastic job, I thought. Say what you will about this guy, no matter what types of things he does. We were on family vacation last month, and it felt like every movie we picked up, John Cena had either a cameo or a surprise cameo appearance in the movie, and just continues to knock it out of the park in everything that he does, hosting the Today Show, a lot of different things, and I think last night was no exception. He did a great job as the host of the ESPYs, but he was not the only WWE superstar on hand for the ESPYs. The Big Show was on hand for the ESPYs, and on the red carpet issued a challenge for WrestleMania against Shaquille O'Neal. Now, this is a match that's been several years in the making, back from when Shaq hosted Raw. I think this was in 2010, and he had the whole deal with, I think he was actually out there with Crime Time, and really kind of went toe-to-toe with the Big Show, and then this past year as a surprise in the Battle Royal. And I'll tell you right now, that was a Battle Royal that was in a very tough spot. I think the Battle Royal came in right between Shane McMahon and The Undertaker and the main event, and that match, I mean, when Big Show and Shaq went toe-to-toe, I'll tell you, 100,000 people stopped what they were doing and paid attention. They were glued. Whatever you want to say about Big Show, he's an attraction. And at WrestleMania, he's had a couple of these different ones. Maybe the Akebono one was a little silly, but the Floyd Mayweather match was really, really big time for that WrestleMania. A lot of people remember that as Ric Flair's final match, but going into that, Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather was really a huge selling point. And if it's Big Show versus Shaq, and it seemed like both of them were on board with this, it seemed almost like this was like a casual conversation that just so happened to be filmed, which, you know, probably was supposed to be filmed, but if that is a match that happens, that is a major match. It should be a lot of fun, especially with it being Orlando. In Orlando, right there, you have, Shaq for many years with the face of the Orlando Magic, took them all the way to the finals in 1995, where they got swept, but, really did. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. That's a match I'd look forward to. That is your WrestleMania-style attraction match that really has been building and building for the last 5-6 years, so... In any event, it looks like they both agreed to do it, so I don't know. Obviously, we're way ahead of a schedule for WrestleMania, but that's a big story if that legitimately is signed, Big Show versus Shaq, or if that is in the plans for WrestleMania, and it seemed like both of them were on board with the idea, and were casually very, very excited about it, it seemed like. During this conversation, you could find the clips on either on WWE's Twitter or WrestleMania's actual official Twitter, so... If they're building to it, it's not by accident, and that's a fun match. So it'll be interesting to see where they go from there. Well, that's going to do it for me right now, but we will be back tomorrow, where I will be looking at the brand new Scott Hall Living on a Razor's Edge DVD set that I have picked up and watched, and really good stuff on that. We'll definitely get into that a little bit more tomorrow, but who knows? I mean, in the world of pro wrestling, you never know what's going to happen next. So we might see you a little bit later. In any event, have a very good day, everyone. It's Thursday. We're almost at the end of the week. Take it easy. You be well.